Hey, you've been to Mesa Verde, yeah?
Yeah.
And what did the park ranger tell you there about the Anasazi people?
We didn't listen to him. We just drove by.
Okay, great, good. You'll hear my story here.
No indoctrination. We just went and felt.
Okay. And with the Anasazi ruins that you went through in Mesa Verde and Chaco Canyon, what was the difference between the structures that you've seen so far?
Structurally,
How are
I
they
wasn't-
designed and built?
looked like Chaco Canyon was much more advanced. The multi-story and multi-kiva within a Pueblo complex also gave it high refined energy. It seemed to be connected to stars, but mostly heart. Whereas in Mesa Verde, it seemed mostly
In the
head.
mind.
Yes.
Okay. And when you're looking at the building structures, what was the difference? One was what?
D-shaped.
Circular, and the other was what? Angular. And this is up in the cliffs, right? Okay. Of a time long ago, the earth was once covered in darkness. In darkness came 4 mountains in 4 directions: north, south, east, and west. The mountain to the north was colored white. The mountain to the east was colored yellow. The mountain to the south was black. The mountain to the west was turquoise. These are the 4 sacred colors of the Navajo people. These 4 sacred colors are used in ceremonies throughout the entire year. The deities of the Navajo people, called the Ye'ibiche, also wore masks. These 4 masks are also 4 colors. What color? To the north? To the east? Yes. To the south? Yes. And to the west?
Turquoise.
When you looked at the Ye'ibiches, how many were there? There was 4. When you seen the colors, did you notice the 4 colors? There were the 4 sacred colors on there. Resemble the 4 sacred masks, the 4 sacred colors of creation. So, these Ye'ibiches are called God dancers. They are deities of the Navajo people. They are the protectors of the 4 sacred mountains. To the north, we have Mount Hefres.
We
To the-
stopped by there.
Yeah, you
We
went
stopped
through.
by there. Yeah.
Yeah, Mount Hefres on Mesa Verde. Mount Taylor, yeah, Chaco Canyon. San Francisco Peaks, Mogollon. And then to the west, the Navajo Mountain.
Which one is south?
San Francisco Peaks.
Is the south?
Yes, that's the south.
Okay.
Flagstaff is south of here.
Okay.
We are north.
Okay.
So, these 4 mountains came out of the earth through water. And there were 4 colors associated with these mountains. And then there were 4 gods to protect each mountain. Mother Earth, Father Sky then gave 4 elements. Can you tell me what the 4 elements are? Yes. These are the elements that we know how to use to survive today. And so, these 4 elements were given to them to protect their mountain. And it is these four elements today that we use to protect ourselves through ceremonies that we just went through this morning, the sweat lodge, and then later on as we went through. So there were two female goddesses that were created. The first female goddess was the elder sister. Her name was the changing woman. She was created in the north. And then she had a sister that was born and created in the south. Her name was the white shell woman. So female was first created, not man. This is the reason why we live in a female matriarchal society, because she was first on this earth. In the first world was the air-spirited people who existed on the first world. These air-spirited people we know as the birds of the earth, the insects of the earth. People that can fly inhabited the first earth. And then the elder gods said, the four elder gods said, you know, there is not enough room for everybody on this earth. It's small. Let's take it into the second world. So the air-spirited people flew underneath the first world and lifted it into the second world, where it was yellow. The first world was what color?
White.
Black.
Black.
Black. This will not make sense just yet, but it will come together. So the first world was black. Then the second world that they came into was yellow. In the second world, they see people that have 4 legs. So they were called the four-legged people. The people of the earth, the deer people, the antelope people, the animals of the earth inhabited the second world. The remainder of the air-spirited people then went onto the second earth. And the elder god said, we all cannot fit on this earth. We need to go and explore other options. So what happened is, let me see. The air-spirited people then began to venture out, let's say, to look for another space, another dimension. And all this time, the changing woman and the white shell woman were observing of how the animals of the earth, the four-legged people, and the air-spirited people were becoming more and more and more and more. They were producing themselves over and over and over. And so the two female goddesses asked their mother, the earth, said, why aren't we able to have reproduction? And father's son said, it's not your time. You're not ready for this. There will be a time in life when you will be ready for this. Now is not the time. So just hold on. So the air-spirited people found a third dimension through the sky, through the Big Dipper, and came into the third world. They flew all the way back down to the second world, put the second world onto the back, and lifted it into the sky, and boom, we came into the third world. The third world was white. And at that time, the air spirit people said, okay, well, what's here? Insects, ants, grasshoppers, crickets. They roamed the third world. And again, they observed that they were reproducing one another. And finally, the changing woman said, well, I think it is about time. And one morning, she woke up early in the morning when the sun was coming up. And she saw everything was red all around her. Just as you see right now. Everything is red. And then she wondered, why am I laying in red? She had gone through her first cycle of womanhood. And so she was told, you are now woman. You need to run towards the sun to the east. And they ran, she ran to the east. I sang the song for you in the sweat lodge this morning. My pitch got higher and higher and higher and higher. I would like to sing it now again, but we have other people here. I will not do that.
We'll wait.
And so she went to the east and met her father, the sun. And then she was told to run to the west and to meet her father again in the west. And they both ran to the west. And the grandfather coyote sang that song that I sang for you this morning. And that song protected them along the sacred trails because he painted a way with the corn pollen. And that corn pollen was a sacred trail to the east and to the west. So when we say our morning prayers, we give sacred corn pollen to the sun. So when the beams of the sun ray come up, it has a sacred trail to travel to us and into our homes. And it's the same way in the evening as well too. When they got to the west, when the sun was setting, the girls were tired, exhausted from all that running and all that traveling. And so they went and laid down on the clouds. One cloud was black, one cloud was white. The black cloud carried back the, which woman? White shell woman, back to the south, back to her mountain. And then, what's the other woman? The changing woman was put on the white cloud back to the north. And they slept. As they were sleeping, Coyote created man from woman. And this is the reason why we live in a female matriarchal society today. When she woke up, she noticed a being that was laying right by her. Changing woman found a yellow bean. Had 5 fingers, 5 toes, just like her. He had a long body, he had legs, he had arms, shoulders. It just looked exactly like her, but there was one part that was different. You probably all know what that part is. So, that was the only difference. Everything else was the same. So she woke up, looked at him, kicked him. Get up, you lazy. That's kidding. And he woke up. And she asked, who are you? And so he got up and introduced himself and said, my name is Hashjawa. I am your mate in life. I've been given to you by the gods. Just as you have seen the reproduction of the animals of the earth, the reproduction of the animals of the sky, I am here for that purpose, to give to you what you want and what you asked for from Mother Earth and Father Sky. Same thing happened in the south. The white shell woman woke up, looked at the guy, kicked him. Who are you? He woke up. Good morning. My name is Hashjeltke, the talking God. I am here as your mate in life. I am here to give to you what you ask from Mother Earth and Father Sky, to give you children. So now, that they have ran to the east and to the west the day previous, now they were taught by the coyote the sacred act of making children. There was another song that was sung, and I sang it at the last end of the sweat lodge this morning. Do you remember that? Do you kind of remember how that song goes? So that song was sung as they were making children. And that's the song of life. That song is sung as air is put into the child.
That's why all the circles then were all
That's why the
connecting.
circles were connecting. Yes. So they reproduced. The changing woman was told to go to the east to reproduce with her mate. That's child. They mated and created the corn pollen boy and the corn pollen girl. The white shell woman then went and was told to go to the west, where she mated with her mate, the talking God. Created the turquoise boy and the turquoise girl. In my song this morning, I mentioned so many times turquoise boy, turquoise girl. Isanat leh, the changing woman. Yolka isan, the white shell woman. Tchadatinshki, tchadatin it, corn pollen boy, corn pollen girl. This is what I was singing this morning in the sweat lodge. I was telling you a story. You didn't know it. But I am telling it to you now, so you can understand
You were getting the creation story.
You were
as
getting-
we were going
yes.
through the sweat project.
You were going
process.
through the creation story,
And creation levels, yeah.
the Navajo way, through the sweat lodge ceremony this morning.
Wow. Is that the common practice?
That's the
though?
common, that's the
To go
traditional,
through the
yes,
whole process. Oh, God, it makes so much sense.
yes.
Wow.
And
It's recalibrating into natural order.
yes, exactly. And so that's what was happening this morning. And without you knowing it, you are partaking of the Navajo creation story all over again. Every time we go through these sweat lodge ceremonies, that's what's going on. We're recreating ourselves, our character, our personas, our image as a human, our thoughts, our thinking, our way of life, our songs and our prayers. We're recalibrating that and putting it back in tune and what?
Balance.
Balancing your structure back out as a human. So that's what you did this morning at the sweat lodge.
Time dissociates us and ceremony reintegrates us.
Exactly, yes. So there were corn pollen boy and corn pollen girl to the east, turquoise boy and turquoise girl to the west. Now, they were told turquoise boy had to travel to the east and was given to the corn pollen girl as her mate in life. The corn pollen boy was told to travel to the west and was given to the turquoise girl as her mate in life. In Navajo culture, Navajo society, men have to travel away from the mother's homestead and travel to the female. There, he is predominantly the owner of the female's family. They dominate him. Everything that is done in retrospect to protect the female, her family, her way of life, her songs, her prayers, the children that's going to come from her.
Oh, okay. I see.
Does it make sense now? We all had to travel away from home to get all this. And then from there, they were all told to mate again. And they mated.
This is a good use. This is a good
The
use for pipe cover.
fire god
It's a lot cheaper than buying.
was told to mate again with the changing woman to the north. And they created what is now known as the Puebloan Anasazi civilization that exists in Mesa Verde, also the ancestors of the Utes. To the east, the corn pollen girl and the turquoise boy mated and created what we now know as the Charcoalian Anasazi civilization, Chaco Canyon, the ancestors of the Zuni. To the south, the white shell woman and her mate, the talking god, mated and created what is now known as the Mogollon Anasazi civilization, the ancestors of the Apache. To the west, the turquoise girl and the corn pollen boy mated and created what is now known as the Athabascan Anasazi civilization, the ancestors of the Navajo. There you go. Philosophy 101. Any questions? That's how we came. And that's who we are now. We're going to look at another petroglyph now.